I mean, so great to have the opportunity to talk to you. How are you? Speaking from Toronto.
Toronto.
Toronto. And so I have a little bit of
Awesome.
love, a little extra love for Willie because he did play on the Jays
Yeah.
for many years,
Yeah.
right?
He did. Yeah.
He did. So,
Awesome.
yeah. Congratulations on this because I thought you did just an amazing role and amazing performance in this. And I gotta ask, how daunting was it for you to take this on? I mean, here he is, this legend, seeing his what happened to his life, but he's still alive. So any pressure on you?
Yeah, that's the part, right? A lot of times when you're playing, especially with, you know, biographical figures, they aren't they aren't alive.
Right.
With Willie, he was on set. I was
Yes.
able to meet him. I was able to talk to him. I was able to experience Willie. And I would say the only pressure is to get it right, to make sure that the not so much the portrayal, because I trust in my craft for that, but that we tell
Right.
the story of redemption, this story of accountability, this family story of
Yes.
second chances, that we get that part right, that he wasn't a victim, that he realized that he took accountability
Yeah.
for what he did, and that more than anything he wanted to reingratiate himself back into the community and be a pillar for change and to be selfless.
Yeah. Absolutely. And yeah, I was going to ask you that about second chances because 99% of the time people deserve them. What do you think?
I think that as a filmmaker, as a as an actor, it's one of the things. I think it may be a ongoing theme of the roles that I look to play.
Mm,
Um, Second chances are so important, especially our in our culture now, where
yeah.
things seem so polarizing, and that you can be judged for one thing that you did when you were young, that
Right.
was caught on tape or video, something that you may upload, something that you may say, is cancelable offenses.
Yeah.
And and life ebbs and flows so much that I feel like people definitely deserve second chances, but there's a way to go about getting that second chance too, and that it's a lot of hard work, and that
Mm-hmm.
you may never end up where you were, and you have to be
100%.
able to accept that, and that's part of the learning experience as well.
Yeah. I was watching this and I'm thinking, I'm looking at your amazing performance in the fabulous series Snowfall. And I'm wondering, and I don't, I could be completely off base here, but playing Jerome, did it help you kind of understand Willie a little better, what he went
i
through?
think I think there's something about playing kind of grittier, salt of the earth characters,
Mm,
that there's some things that correlate. I think playing Jerome Saint, he's a guy from the 80s, and Willie is a guy that his times were in that era as well.
right.
It's both deal with the drug, crack cocaine, from total different vantage points of it.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, um, I think that there are some things that help me definitely, to get into the character, to understand the time period,
Hmm.
because I was just a child during those times, but because I had done such extensive work with the Jerome Saint character around the 80s, and what influenced him to be who he was in the like who who was he in the 70s that impacted who he would become in the 80s.
Right.
It also helped me with Willie. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. So, as we said earlier in the interview that, Willie was there, he was on set. He obviously gave his blessing. What did he think at the end when he saw the film? And what did he tell you?
I don't know. He seen we were fortunate to be able to screen the film in Cooperstown, New York,
Nice.
at the Baseball Hall of Fame. And there were not other, because Willie isn't a Hall of Famer,
right.
but the Hall of Famers were there. He was able to see the bat that he used in the 80s World Series, that he hit multiple home runs with.
Wow.
He was able to play in the All-Star game, and something about him no longer being a pariah to the
Amazing.
sport.
Yeah.
Something about him being around his former players and teammates. And I think there's some restitution that it's been, I feel like there's some things about this journey that he now goes, wow, this, it was worth telling my story. It was worth, it was worth me talking to Congress. It was worth me, going to the team president and falling on my sword and apologizing to the city of Kansas City. And I think it's full circle in some ways. And I think the film was a vehicle for that.
Yeah, it really, really is great. It was so wonderful to watch you in this. And just before I wrap up, I want to ask you quickly, just to go back to Snowfall. First season, I had the opportunity to talk to John Singleton about the show with Idris, and then I have interviewed John many times over the years. And what a sad, sad loss. And I just have to ask, what was the main thing maybe that you learned from John for the short time that you got to work with him?
Wow, I've learned so many things, but if I had to put it in John always, with me particularly, John always was looking for the specificity of telling the story, that this is important stuff, that we're very few times that we focus on communities like South Central,
right,
and everything, and just the geopolitical ramifications of the things that may happen in that small community. And it was really important for him to get things right, to show the culture, to have an unapologetic way of expressing yourself and getting the sentiments of what makes a community what it is, that this is the story. He was really a stickler for that. I learned so much from him. There was an enchantment about John, that there was an enthusiasm about John for to collaborate as a filmmaker. I learned that about him, to always stay in your joy of what attracted us to this storytelling medium. And then to put something on it, open your bag and give them, be expressive.
Well, you do that really well in everything that you do. And I just got to thank you so much for your time today. I mean, you're so great in this film, and thank you. It's wonderful. And I look forward to another great season of Snowfall and everything else you've got coming at us. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Take care.
Thank you so much. Okay. See you on the next one.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.